I'm still waking up. It's a little not really icy out because there's no moisture on the ground, at least not here. Kind of a little frosty looking out there. I'm wearing one of my father-in-law's fleece shirt jacket things. It's a pullover. It zips down to there. And he was a man's size small well, until assisted living. Now he's a large. Oh my goodness. He lived by himself for most of his life. Well, no, he was married. His wife passed away. And then he lived alone. And I mean, he had a girlfriend for a while, but I mean, for a long time. But then he was alone, and there was no one to cook for him, although he did have an arrangement with a lady across the street from him. I'm just looking outside, watching the traffic go by. He volunteered at an organization, I think it was called Feed the People, and they put together gift boxes every week, one day a week, and they would hand them out to people in the community. So they had all of the various things that their volunteers had gone around to the grocery stores and collected. We didn't have any food industry in the area. We had a lot of agriculture, but we didn't have any packing houses or bottling companies or canning or anything like that. So everything they got was pretty much from grocery stores. So he was responsible for volunteering to hand out the boxes. And a lot of stuff was left over at the end of the day. Basic things. Most of the people they served were homeless. I know that's not the politically correct term, so I'm going to use it. They were homeless. And I'm such a brat. I've always been a brat. Anyway, oh, Chaos is awake. He's got a weird blanket on him. Let's go take a look at the dog. Okay. Daddy covered him up with one of his long sleeve t-shirts on the bed so that the dog wouldn't be cold. So he just came out wearing his daddy's red t-shirt. Come on, dude. And put him outside to go potty. Anyway, there was always stuff left over that people couldn't use. Like if it was soup, they couldn't cook it. They wanted the instant stuff. They wanted the deli sandwiches, the deli meats, cheeses, things they could eat without cooking. So those went. And, the canned fruits that you could just pop the lid off. I mean, I'm sure some of them had can openers, so they took that. But they didn't want things like cabbage and, potatoes, they didn't want all that stuff. So there was always an excess of food at the end of the day. So my father-in-law would bring it home. And then he had a neighbor across the street from him who was, I believe she was in her mid-90s. He was in his 80s. And they had a friendship. It was very nice. He would bring her food and she would cook it for him. And then they would share. I don't think they ate at each other's houses, but he would take her a bunch of fruits and vegetables. And he had for himself, he would have the canned foods like the soup and things like that. But I remember one time he told me she made him some kind of a cabbage dish because they got a bunch of cabbage. Hello there. Thank you for saying hi. So she cooked him up some kind of a cabbage dish and he loved it. He thought it was really good. So that was really neat. That was a neat arrangement. And he was eating very well as long as she was there. But eventually she had to go. Her family came and I don't know if they took her home with them or if they put her in some kind of assisted living situation. But when she left, his diet changed drastically. Now he was still bringing home food, but he wasn't eating it the way he had before. His sister was in town and she would bring him food, and she was probably cooking for him at some point as well and bringing him food over. But he wasn't eating a whole lot. He just didn't want to cook. He would heat something up. But my husband went over there once and he was taking out food that had mildew on it. out of the refrigerator, and my father-in-law was going to eat it. He was just going to put it in the microwave and heat it up and eat it. That was terrifying. I'm good, thank you. Is it Fenner? Fenner? I'm good, thank you. I've got to go let my dog back in the house. I'm pretty sure he's all done doing his business. They don't usually take a lot of time in the morning. I do over there. It's Nana's Ranch on Instagram. I haven't been there in forever. You'll see some old videos over there of our animals that we don't have anymore. Most of them are gone. But yeah, Nana's Ranch on Instagram. I used to be real active on Instagram. I don't even think I have it on my phone anymore. I think it's been taken off. I don't have very many apps on my phone. I've got to take my phone down to the store and figure out what happened to it. About a month ago, I lost most of my memory. Okay, dude. So he wants to go outside and go for a ride or something. He was just sniffing his collar. He's like, Mom, can you put my collar on? Can you put my collar on? Anyway, so my father-in-law was very thin during that time because he wasn't eating a whole lot. Then he came to live with us, and he was thin because we don't eat a whole lot. I mean, we eat enough to sustain ourselves, but we don't eat enough to put on a lot of weight. So he was thin. And then when we left California and moved to Tennessee, he didn't want to come with us. So he went into assisted living, and they started feeding him. So this is a man-size small fleece shirt. It's probably more than 10 years old. Most of his clothing is very, very old. He does not get rid of anything. And when he moved out here, my husband packed a lot of his clothes because, you know, he thought, well, Dad's going to want his clothes. He didn't bring all of them. He went through them. He went through them with a pretty fine-tooth comb. But he brought this shirt out, knowing his dad couldn't wear it. He gave it to me. He said, do you want this? I said, yes. Yes, I'll wear your dad's shirt. Yes. So that's the first thing I did this morning. I need to shower because, you know, morning time is a good time to shower. But I'm not going to shower until after morning chores because it's 15 degrees out with a breeze. Not a strong breeze, but it is 15 out. And I am not interested in going out with wet hair. It takes my hair a long time to dry. You can see it's, I mean, I could shower and just not wash my hair, I suppose. I might do that. Anyway, I'm in the middle of taking my morning meds. I don't have much. I just have these little over-the-counter, try to keep old people from getting too old before their time pills. Oh, and my allergy pills. I'm feeling a little congested today. You can go look at my video from yesterday. There's about a 2.5-minute video, I think, not in the shorts. It's a regular video of our new goat. We brought a new goat home. We went and picked her up yesterday. We went to Kentucky. We took a long time. We left 3.5 or 4 hours early and went up and did a little bit of sightseeing. We went to a distillery. We went to a log cabin manufacturer. So you can watch that video as well. That's on my live feed. You'll see that in my lives. You'll see a live feed of me at a distillery. Actually, the video, the thumbnail's pretty lame. I'll have to change the thumbnail on that one. I'll get a picture of the whiskey bottle that we bought. We bought a bottle of whiskey. All right, I'm going to take one of my supplements. This is my vitamin D. Pardon me. Oh, thank you, Fenner. Where are you located, Fenner? I'm in the United States, in Tennessee, as I've already said. I can be nice. I can also be quite spicy. Some of the stuff going on in the world makes me realize that spicy might be a good idea. I think spicy people might be in a better shape than the really, really nice people who just let things happen. Yikes. So with all that's going on, oh my goodness, with the thing that happened at the church in Minneapolis on Sunday, that was really scary. Oh my gosh, those people were not able to leave. The protesters were in their face, committing felony after felony after felony. Oh my gosh, that was terrifying. We used to attend a church, believe it or not, in California. where most of the congregation had their concealed carry permits, and most of them carried when they went to church. We had the classes to get, you had to take classes to get your CCW, and then you take a test and you go to the range, and it's all kind of, oh, you're in Turkey. Okay, cool. Very cool. I have some ancestry in the Turkey region. Anyway, we took our neighbor. She needed to get her CCW renewed, and we took her to the class that the church offered. The church offered the class 2 times every month, and there were between 60 and 75 people every single month at the CCW class. I mean, that maybe not during winter time. They might not have offered it because it was too cold, but pretty much twice a month. And she was in the class. I didn't really even think about it. She was in the class, and she's looking around. She goes, are all these people from your church? And we're kind of looking and going, most of them, yeah, or, family and friends of people in our church. She goes, is everyone in your church armed? And I didn't really think about it till then. I'm just like, I guess so. I mean, we were all CCWs, so none of us were flashing. It's not legal to open carry in California. So I don't know for sure, but I'm going to guess that a pretty good percentage of the people were armed. I don't think what happened in Minneapolis would have gone over very well at that church in California. There were a lot of people in that church that were packing some heat. You definitely want to think twice. In fact, that was really dangerous. If there had been someone in there with a CCW, could have been really bad. Oops, I just blew one of my pills over. I think I'll take it again. No, thank you. I don't need a message. You can just put whatever you want to in the chat. That's fine, Fenner. That's fine. I'm just taking over-the-counter supplements, you guys. No need to turn me into the YouTube police for taking narcotics on camera. I don't take narcotics. I take allergy pills and vitamin supplements. It's a pretty daring move, I know, to take vitamin supplements on YouTube and allergy pills. Oh gosh, I feel extra congested this morning. Yeah, oh my goodness. Here's the one I hate. Larry, hey, welcome to my vitamin B supplement. I hate this pill. It actually bruises my esophagus. I hate it. So I try to take it with my breakfast. If I remember to take it with my breakfast, I'll put that back in the cup. Larry, good to see you. Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. I hope it's not too breezy. This weekend, Larry, is going to suck. Do you agree? We're expected to get between 10 and 15 inches of snow with this storm that's blowing in. We just brought home this little baby goat yesterday. I call her a baby. She's, I think, 8 months old. Yeah, 9 months old. Goodness. She looks like she's 4 months old. She's tiny. I want to bring her home. I want to bring her into the house. And I know Dave will say, absolutely not. But because it's a girl, we could put a diaper on her and she could run around the house. Of course, she would eat my houseplants. You only take 3? Golly, I take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then if I remember to take my mushroom max, 9. They're all over the counter. And I try not to take them. I am so bad. But that's what made my health go, was I stopped taking them. I think 2 of them are actually, they're vitamins, but they're actually hormones. And my body needs them. Yeah, Larry, you need to get out of this. Well, you're not going to be out of there before this storm hits. I don't know. What state are you in, Larry? I'm in the northeast corner of Tennessee, so I can see from our property, I can see the mountains where North Carolina is, and I can see Virginia from there, Arkansas. Oh, so you guys, are you going to be getting the really, really cold, or are you getting, what's happening? Because the entire state of Tennessee is going to be under winter storm crapola next week, so you guys are probably going to be hit with it too, or this weekend. Oh gosh. We've got our little girl kind of wrapped in cardboard boxes, but I want to go get her probably a box for maybe a dishwasher or something at Home Depot, maybe, and then just stuff it, snow and cold weather and wind in Arkansas, like wind, right? Because there's really nothing stopping the wind. Good grief. Um, I want to put her kennel, she's got a plastic dog kennel, in a cardboard box, slide it in, and then stuff all the way around it with more cardboard and maybe a blanket and something. I want her to have something to where she can go in there and be warm. I don't know how to cover the front of it though to stop wind from coming in, because it has to be open or she won't be able to go in. You know, she's a goat. I don't know. She's so cute. Larry, you'll have to go check out the video I posted last night. It's not in my shorts feed. My shorts feed has just a little nugget of it. The actual video is only like 2.5 minutes long, but she's so cute and she's the sweetest goat. Oh my gosh. It's like she acts like a pet, like a dog. She was going up to Dave and coming over to me, and Dave was real nervous, like, keep the gate closed to the kennel. But she wasn't interested in leaving. She was interested in being with us. She was so sweet. Oh my gosh. Dave named her Dixie. I gave her a middle name. So her name is Dixie Rose because just Dixie was a little too harsh. She's a Dixie Rose for sure. And that will give me the opportunity when I get my sewing machine serviced to make her some ridiculous sweaters with roses on them. Oh, God, I love to dress my goats. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and we got dog jackets yesterday for the big dogs. We went to Tractor Supply on our way home because little girl needed some shavings and we didn't have any shavings for her. And they had most of their winter stuff on sale and their dog jackets were 50% off. So we got 2 Carhartt dog coats for the price of 1. I like that. I like 2 for the price of 1. And they're bright orange. In fact, I'll go show you guys. I'll show you what we got yesterday for the dogs because Joshua goes to the ranch with us in the morning and in the evening because I can't leave her in the house. She tears things up. So she goes. And it's really cold in the back of the truck. And it's cold when we get her out of there and put her on her lead. It's cold for Chaos too, but he's used to it. Let's see, turn the light on in here. Ooh, oh, that's bright. Okay, here are the Carhartt dog jackets. So we got normally $55, $27.99, and they're extra large. They're lined, but not, there's no fluff to them. This is just this canvas and then that sheer lining, which actually this is really nice. The hair doesn't stick to it like it does their sweaters. So both dogs will be wearing this size extra large. It's the biggest they get. Oh, there's a pocket. I just realized, oh my gosh, we can't put treats in there. They'll eat them. Okay, so that's my story. Spent a little more money than we thought we were going to spend. Honestly, we really both needed to use the bathroom. It was a long trip. And we went in, and of course, going back that way, they had stuff. So we ended up buying, I bought snacks, Dave bought snacks. They had candy I can eat, which is rare. I can't usually eat most candies, but I could eat those. And he got some kind of a peanut mix. I can't eat any of that. And then we got the dog bed. So we ended up, instead of spending, $10 on shavings, we spent close to $90. Supporting businesses in, I don't know where we were. Were we in Kentucky or Virginia? Shoot, man, we might have been in Tennessee. I don't know. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the thumbs up, Larry. I assume you gave me the thumbs up. But thank you, whoever gave me the thumbs up. I'm almost done with my medication for the morning. I really seriously think somebody could turn me in for taking pills on camera. I'm going to take just one. Yesterday I took 2 of these together, and this is a vitamin or a hormone. I'm not sure which. It's either a vitamin D3 or a 4-letter hormone. Not sure. Anyway, I don't know. Something my body needs. And when I wasn't taking it, my adrenal system said, you know what, sister? If you're not going to play by the rules, we're not going to play the game. And my adrenal system checked out and said, we're done. We're not going to play this. So I got very, very sick. I've had energy for 1 week. It's the first time in 3 years that I've had energy. Feels good. A whole week of energy. It took me a month to get energy. I have to have my blood drawn in March, and they'll tell me if I've done a good job or not. I shouldn't say I've never been. Most of my life, I haven't really been a sick person, but I have 3 autoimmune disorders: blood pressure and anxiety and fish oil. Oh, okay. Yeah, anxiety, I hear you. Maybe once you get into a better housing situation, that'll be relieved for you. I get anxiety, but I don't suffer from an anxiety disorder. My mom has terrible anxiety, and she called me yesterday. We were just driving into Kentucky. She needed my help with something, and it had to do with finances. And I told her, the credit union is closed today, Mom. I can't do anything. And she said, oh, okay. So that bought me a little bit of time. But she has really bad anxiety, and she takes something for it. I forget what it's called, but it helps her. So that's good. I mean, it helps her a lot. When she runs out of her anxiety meds, things kind of explode. Trying to get things to where she's not so anxious. She's only in her 80s. What is she, 83? 83 and a half. She should relax. Oh gosh, it's tough. Changes, man. When you get old, changes. All right, you know what? How long? We've only been here 22 minutes. Maybe I can read a couple jokes. I've still got my little giant encyclopedia of one-liners. I told this one once before. This is Henny Youngman. Henny Youngman was pretty funny. Our village idiot locked his keys in the car. It took him an hour and a half to get his wife out. The town drunk. My 2 grandfathers were the town drunk. They shared that. I'm sure there were people that were more drunk than them, but they might have been the two of the better known town drunks, and the police knew them quite well. Unfortunately, the police back in the day, the police would actually give you a ride home if you were caught drunk driving. If you were from the right family, they would drive you home, and one would drive your car, and everything would be fine, or they would just park it, and in the morning my grandma would go with him to get it. Yeah, the police used to be that way. Very caring. I don't know, man. I don't know. One of my grandpas came home with front end damage to his car one day or one night, and we never figured out what it was, what happened. But the whole family was watching the newspaper to see if somebody had gotten hit. It was probably just a vehicle or a sign or something, but everybody was really upset that he might have hurt somebody. My uncle was the town drunk, and we lived in Chicago. George Goebel said that. My father was never home. He was always drinking booze. He saw a sign saying, "Drink Canada Dry." So he went up there. Oh, goodness. I only drink to steady my nerves. Last night I got so steady that I couldn't move. There you go. If you have anxiety, do not use alcohol to steady yourself. My grandfather drank a quart a day and he lived to be 103. I went to his cremation. That fire never did go out. Slappy White said that. W.C. Fields. How can I tell when I've had enough to drink? Easy. When my knees start to bend backwards. He was not only the town drunk, he was also the town war memorial. We couldn't afford an eternal flame, so we just lit his breath on fire. And he did his community service. They used to use his breath to kill all the weeds in town square. In the winter, he'd breathe on the interstate highway to melt the snow. Some good townspeople tried to rehabilitate him, and they did pretty well. For a while there, we had him standing on his own 2 knees. Ha. All right, let's go. Larry, it's just you and me and a stranger in here right now. Oh. She was so mean that she didn't like anything that was fun. The dentist even found out she was allergic to laughing gas. He had to give her snarling gas. I don't like that one. Even the ASPCA had an injunction against her. She was scaring all the pit bulls in the neighborhood. Oh, goodness. Okay, I think I read that one. King of the Road. I think I already read that one, too. My goodness. Who would give me a driver's license? I got 2 tickets on my written test. Phyllis Diller said that. Chaos! Don't lick your wiener in the living room. Thank you. We reserve that for private places. Okay, I guess I've said all those. Traffic. Traffic was so heavy that it was bumper to bumper. A man pushed in his cigarette lighter, and the man in the car in front said, "Ouch!" Some people don't get that. Millions of people don't get that. Many millions of people don't get that joke. They think that's where you're supposed to put your car charger. They have no idea what that's really for. The only way to solve the traffic problem is to pass a law that only paid-for cars are allowed to use the highways. Okay, that was by Will Rogers. In other words, I guess we could drive. We're not paying on any of our New York's Midtown, that one day I saw 3 cars chasing the same pedestrian. Oh my goodness. Traffic was so bad on the freeway the other day that I'm going to start over. Traffic was so bad on the freeway the other day that on the way home I had to stop 3 times to make car payments. The roads are getting packed nowadays. The only way you can change lanes now is to buy the car next to you. These must have been people that were in LA and New York. And let's see. Where else have I been that traffic? Oh, Denver. Oh, traffic in Denver is horrible. Traffic was so, no. Okay, you guys, my brain, I forgot I already read those. It used to take 3 hours by horse-drawn buggy to go from one end of the city to the other. Today, it takes you that long just to get on the freeway. Oh, cool. Very cool. That's awesome. I wonder if there are any more Will Rogers. So you probably know more about Will Rogers' sense of humor than I do. There aren't very many Will Rogers jokes in this book. Let me see if I can find some more. I think they're listed in the back. It tells you where their jokes are. Actually, that doesn't make any. Oh, they are. Will Rogers. Let's see. It would be in the R's. Rogers. Do, 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 do. Oh, he has a lot of jokes in here. Oh, my goodness. 486. We'll start there. My goodness, it was just a few pages over. 486. We do more talking progress than we do progressing. Here you go. Also, happiness and contentment is progress. In fact, that's all progress is. That's just words of wisdom. Good job, Will Rogers. Okay. 462. I never knew Will Rogers was a comedian. Wasn't he an actor as well? Income tax has made more liars out of the American people than golf. Fact. 455. I'm not a golfer, but I get that joke. Will Rogers. Okay, this one even has a picture with it. If there was ever a time to save money, it's now. When a dog gets a bone, he doesn't go out and make the first payment on a bigger bone. He buries the one he's got. That was just really good advice. He gave good advice. He wasn't necessarily telling jokes. He gave good advice. That makes a lot of sense, you know? Sorry, that's the asthma. There are people that no matter what they buy, as soon as they get it and that rush of adrenaline is over with, they're looking for the next better thing. We have a 20-year-old motorhome. We've only owned it for maybe a year and a half. And Dave wants a bigger one. And I'm telling him, no, this is just fine. It's big enough for us. But he wants it so that when all three of the older grandchildren are traveling with us, they can each have their own bed. But the problem is they're all older. I mean, I don't think our granddaughter's even going to spend summers with us anymore because she's 16. She'll be turning 17 in the summer. She's going to have a job. She's got a boyfriend. She doesn't want to come hang out with Nana and Grandpa for the whole summer. And when her brothers are with us, they're not always with us for very long because they've got band camp and they've got church camp and they've got basketball camp and all the things. So they're only here for maybe a week or two. And I told him, we can just put a tent outside the motorhome. When we're camping at a race, we can just put a tent right outside the door of the motorhome. They can camp in a tent. They don't have to be in there. Okay, where are we going now? I like the fact that it's a small motorhome. It's not huge. It's got 2 slide outs. It's fine. It's fine. 447. I'm usually satisfied. I'm wearing my father-in-law's 10 or 15-year-old shirt. I'm usually satisfied with what I have. I rarely get something and then think, oh, I've got to get something better right away. Will Rogers said, inflation, when Congress becomes 10% efficient, why? That is inflation. That one kind of got lost on me. Yeah, kids dead. The teenagers, they definitely have their own lives. 443, 447, 443. Another Will Rogers. He's got a lot in here. Will Rogers said, politics has become so expensive that it takes a lot of money even to be defeated. Again, words of wisdom. That's true. You have to be a millionaire and a narcissist and corrupt and a bully and a backstabbing bitch. You have to be a lot of bad things to be a politician. Let's see, 440. Oh, here's a long one. The past few weeks, Wall Street has gone into one tailspin after another. You could pick up the morning paper, read the stock report, and wouldn't think there were that many minus signs in the world. Is that still the same? I suppose. 439. I'm not finding these funny, I'm just finding them information. When Coolidge was president, men bought stocks who had never even bought toothpaste before. Okay, what was happening to the stock market when Coolidge was president? Did it take a dive and people just bought a whole bunch of stock because they knew it had to get better, or was it on its way up? Did Coolidge do good things? I wasn't around when Coolidge was president. Let's see. He got married on the sidewalk. Well, good for him. I wonder how many times he was married. That would be easy to Google. How many times was Will Rogers married? I don't have Siri on my phone, so I can't ask Siri. I wonder if she would answer me during a live stream. Do the two robots talk to each other? Do YouTube and Siri, are they friends? Do they get along? Get along, little doggy. 421. Will Rogers again. Where are you? There we go. The man with the best job in the country is the vice president. All he has to do is get up every morning and say, "How's the president?" It's kind of true, huh? Has our vice president been doing anything? I mean, Dave and I had this discussion last night. I think the vice president has been going over to across the pond, as they say. Not to the UK, I don't think, but hasn't he been going to countries over in Europe and other places lately and doing some diplomatic patting of the backs? You know, when Trump hurts somebody's feelings, people go and they pat them on the back and say, there, it'll be okay. You're going to be fine. I think the vice president went to Iceland recently. I think he did. In the last month, I think he went to Iceland and talked to the people there. I think he was meeting with people who are pro United States, you know. I don't think he was meeting with others. I can't imagine that he would have, but maybe he did. Maybe he had some meetings. I just pulled one of my big old hairs out of my sock. I have long hairs, you guys. They're very, very, very long. Yeah, Coolidge was way before your time, Larry. I don't even know. Yeah, my mom might have been alive during Coolidge, but I don't know that she would have heard much. I mean, you know, they didn't even have a television. Of course, neither did we. But most people did. We just didn't. Not for most of my childhood. 413. So, and she wouldn't have read the newspaper, so I don't think my mom would have known what was going on when Coolidge was president. I probably knew at some point because I used to be really into history. 413, another Will Rogers statement of fact. Let's see what we have here. We can't all be heroes because somebody has to sit on the curb and clap as they go by. That's true. That is true. 412. That's all there is to success is satisfaction. That's true. Satisfaction. Cool. All right. We've been at this for 38 minutes. It's just you and me, Larry. I think I'm going to put an end to this. I've got to get ready. We've got to take hot water over to the ranch. Dave took his dad to get some blood work. Well, to get some blood drawn so the lab could run some blood work on him. He's going to be back pretty soon. It is little after 8:30 here. Remember when we all told time in quarter of an hour? Someone asked you what time it is. You looked at your analog watch and said, it's around 7:30, 7:45. You know, there was that sweet spot in between somewhere that you could find, and you would say, you know, it's either this or that. And then I remember when digital watches came out, and I was so annoyed because I would say, good morning, Homan. My brother, I would ask my brother what time it is, and he would say, it's 8:33. And I'm just thinking, why don't you just say 8:30? You know, I don't need to know exactly what time it is. When you ask what time is it, you were asking for a general time, usually in 15-minute chunks. And if you needed more specifics, you would ask more specifics. But it's just like now our time is down to the minute. It's 8:37. Sometimes Dave will ask me what time it is, and I'll just real quick look at the clock, and I still go back into that mode of just like in 15-minute increments. And he'll say, what time is it? And I'll say, oh, it's 8:45. And he'll look at his watch, or he'll look somewhere and he'll go, it's only 8:38. Yeah, but I'm a child of the 60s. It's 8:45. It's going to be 8:45 for the next 7 minutes, okay? Get over it, man. Yes, definitely, Larry. I will do my best to have a great day. I'm going to try to stay warm, taking hand warmers. I'm going to put my insulated bibs on. I'm going to wear my fluffy jacket over this. I've already got long johns on under it. I'm going to stay warm. Thank you so much. You have a blessed day. I hope you stay warm too. And get out of where you are and into some place that's warmer and closer to everything you need. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys. Good morning, Nate. I'm leaving now. I'm leaving. It's been 41 minutes. I'm out of here, but go ahead and rewind and watch it from the beginning. I was talking about what went on yesterday, talking about my father-in-law when he helped out at a food bank. And what moving into assisted living did to his girth. He went from a man size small to a man size extra large. He's put on a little weight since he went to assisted living. They do feed him well. All right, guys, God bless you all. I will see you in the next live stream. Thank you so much for joining me.